All right, then. Let's tell you about the security situation in the country. There are some wins and there are a lot of grounds to cover. But when we see the wins we'll talk about, when we see where we need to make improvement, we've got to also touch on it. But tonight, our attention is drawn to what has happened in Kogi State, where the Nigerian police force says scores of bandits have been neutralized in their network and dislodged, and others have been flushed out of Kogi Forest in the ongoing operations of the joint police and military, and supported by the Nigerian police force air wing components. They said the onslaught against the bandits in that area by the joint force were allowed them to flush out scores, and scores were also neutralized. The operation, which is being carried out according to the police with vigor, commitment, and utmost professionalism, and supported by the Nigerian police force air wing components through precision airstrike, led to some of the successes that have been recorded, some of which have been now being captured on tape, how the assault were dropped on some of the enclave of these terrorists in their bush, and some of them, the police said they foiled another attack on Obajana operational base and arrest some suspect. In all of these, there are also troubles around what some of these criminal elements and gangs are doing in the FCT. The what we now popularly call street kidnapping and abduction. One chance scenario playing out in the FCT. Let's get a view of what is going on. I'm being joined by the spokesperson of the Nigerian Police Force, Mr. Benjamin Hundeyin, who is live for us here. Thank you so much, Mr. Hundeyin, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. So the effort and and I must thank the media segment of the Nigerian Police Force, and I've said it in several fora, to say the military, the Air Force, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Police Force should let Nigerians in by carrying journalists along in some of your operation. That way, Nigerians can be able to appreciate what you're doing with the footage, and the Nigerian Air Force does a bit of these sometimes. I have been embedded in operation in the Northeast region in the early days of insurgency in that region. It helps Nigerians to appreciate what is the nature, the color of the kind of war we're facing as a people. And the people who are in the force are Nigerians, like us.
Yes.
But they have chosen to help defend our land against some of these criminal elements. And we appreciate some of the footage that we see. It makes us understand what you are doing. So the Nigerian Police Force has joined hands with the military in what has become a major assault on some of these elements. But what we have seen now is in Kogi State. Is this happening across the country?
Yes, thank you very much. So this is going to be sustained, and this is going to be taken to every enclave of the bandits or kidnapping gangs, gun runners, or terrorists. So this is just the beginning. We'll sustain it in Kogi, we'll sustain it in Kwara, and we'll also take it to every other area where this is needed.
Are these the same? Are these also forest guards, or they're just part of the operation? Are this the elite force that the IG inaugurated some time ago?
Well, that elite force is part of this. It's a mix of some units like the police mobile force, the intelligence response team, the air wing, and of course that elite force we are talking about, the Special Intervention Squad, SIS. So it's a mix of all of this in partnership with the military. Those are the people that did this operation we are talking about.
So we have the air wing and the ground operation. So as this was happening, there are ground operatives who are combing and making the arrests.
Oh, definitely. There are ground troops who are mopping them all up in a coordinated way. So it's more like a synergy. There was communication between the air wing and those on the ground. So it was well coordinated, yes.
So we've seen this happen in Kogi, and this for the Nigerian police is a success, right? What do we have a body count? Do we have data to how many of these have been neutralized? Do we have any arrests so far?
Yes, I can confirm that 129 of these terrorists were arrested, 129. And I can also confirm that 55 of them were neutralized. I'm talking about Kogi and Kwara now. 55 were neutralized. And also,
so by neutralization, for our viewers, it means that they are being killed.
Yes, they fell in the line of firefight.
Simple terms. I mean, some of us will be happy that anyone terrorizing this country is being killed.
Well, some might want to say, oh, that was extrajudicial killing. So I have to make it clear, firefight. These were people that were not ready to give up because some of their colleagues were arrested, but these were people that decided to fight till the end. So 55 of them were neutralized, and good enough, 309 hostages were rescued.
Wow.
309
between Kogi and Kwara.
Kwara hostages were rescued.
And most of these are abductees from Kwara. Most of them.
Most,
the larger percentage of them were from...
Well, I wouldn't know which is larger, or I wouldn't want to say which is larger, but between Kogi and Kwara, 309 hostages were rescued. So,
in all of this, the operation of the forest guard, because I saw how they graduated and they were deployed. And we now understand that more sophisticated equipment are now coming to fight insurgents. What more do Nigerians need to know as per what is coming in the next few days?
Well, I'll say something. For this particular operation, our men have been on ground since as far back as January 2nd, before they actually struck. They had been on ground to study the terrain, because it's a very difficult terrain. So many trees, so many hills, caves, streams. In fact, it's not even motorable, and it makes it easy for these terrorists to hide. It makes it easy for them to mount, to have surveillance points on different trees and monitor the movement of officers. It makes it easy for them. In fact, they even use walkie-talkie, so they even communicate the moment they sight the presence of security operatives, so they can easily regroup, they can easily come together to be formidable. So the point I'm trying to make is we've been there since January 2nd, when IG approved this operation for the police parts to join, work with the military for this, and see when we eventually struck. So in the coming days, it might not be as easy as you're making it sound. So we still need to do a lot of reconnaissance and all of that. But we can assure Nigerians, without putting any specific timestamp, we can assure Nigerians that we are working seriously to sustain what we have started. And we are taking this battle to every single identified enclave of bandits and terrorists.
Why does it look like the police just woke up?
Well, it's not like we just woke up. What is happening is that you are now seeing the dividend of should I say months or periods of intelligence gathering. You are now seeing dividends of a long period of planning. The military, the police, the DSS, and other security agencies have been planning to ensure that this operation is very very successful, to reduce the casualty on the part of the police, and that's what it was.
I hope there were no casualties.
No casualty,
on the side of
casualty
of the
on the
state,
part of the police, government security agencies. So that's why it appears like we're just waking up. But this is what it is, and like I've said like twice already, we intend to sustain this.
It looks like you've got new equipment. That's what I have the feeling so.
Well,
the Nigerian police force, because I know that a lot of your officers still carry some ammunition that looks like Dane guns. Yes, I mean, I know not so much about ammunitions, but when I see them, it just some of those ammunition some of the officers carry look very outdated. But with this that we're saying, it does look like you've got some new supplies.
Well, we are always replenishing our supplies. We're always getting additional supplies. The government is always making these available, but we've always had machine guns. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. The GPMG you can see in the aircraft.
Because the story is that our police force are always being overwhelmed because of the kind of weaponry the enemy is always on the side of the enemy. That by the sound of the enemy's guns and ammunition, Even some police force, but the story we hear is that some of the officers run away from because they know that this is super. I mean, this is heavier than what they are.
Yes, it is simple enough. It's a game of numbers. If you want to confront something that is like 100 in number, you need to have something more than 100 in number to it's just a game of numbers. So you need to match that number. So, like I said, it's been weeks and months of intelligence gathering, trying to know where they are, what they have, the caliber of their weapons, so that we can come better prepared, which we did. So we made use of the kind of weapons that would match theirs, and we also went went ahead of them to use air support. So we now have the bird's eye view, and we can actually get them. We also made use of the drone units of our police air wing. So the drones went out there to see what we needed to see before striking. But this is a pointer to the fact that if we get, and I'm sure we're going to get, if we get more resources, then we're going to do more. You are going to see Kogi and Kwara in multiple folds.
Let me quickly take you to FCT. Is it that when you guys are focusing on the FCT, you turn your backs, focusing on Kogi and Kwara, you turn your back on FCT, all of a sudden it's not safe now to get a cab or to be in public transport in Abuja? Because easily, and you've had cases of
definitely.
The abduction, the killing,
definitely
through one chance in Abuja.
Yes, we've had cases of one chance in Abuja, but we do not neglect one part of the country for another. So in as much as we're having operations in some parts of the country, other parts of the country are also being policed. Abuja, the issue of one chance, yes, is been on for quite some time, but the Commissioner of Police in Abuja is doing quite a lot to reduce that. Recently addressed the media, addressed the residents of Abuja on how to stay safe, on where to pick vehicles, where to board vehicles. And also, we've also achieved a lot in the area of arrest of this one chance syndicates. Just recently, a few days back, we arrested the gang behind the murder of that lawyer, and the phone has been recovered. And I also like to use the opportunity to advise Nigerians, yes, be security conscious, but in the unfortunate events that you find yourself amongst terrible people, criminals, please do not struggle. Do not struggle, because from our investigation so far with these arrested gang members, from our investigation so far, they were saying that, the woman, well, she's not here to defend herself, that the woman struggled with them, so that was why they got angry and pushed her out of the vehicle. So, so Nigerians out there, be security conscious, but if you find yourself amongst criminals, please stay calm, save your life first, and we can always go after these criminals to get them arrested. So in terms of one chance, we are not sitting idle. We are doing everything possible to eradicate it completely.
I've seen a bit of what Lagos is doing in terms of having eyes on the ground, digitally speaking, now remote eyes, and you see what is happening. In fact, Enugu governor has taken it a notch higher. He's got heavy drones, more than does your average kind of drones. There is a command and control center. There is AI detecting devices where, by plate numbers, by facial recognition, strange faces. In fact, if you are entering Enugu State, in any part of Enugu State where these cameras are, it identifies you as a new face and a new entrant. I have seen that, I've been there, and I've seen it. And I'm wondering, with the kind of resources available to the FCT, why is the police not talking to the FCT administration to get that kind of... Abuja should have perhaps one of the most sophisticated policing, both in terms of command and control and on the street policing gadgets.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, these are things that we know. These are assessments that we have carried out. We know what the problem is. We know what the solution is, and we are working towards it. Just like you said earlier, if the police just woke up, and I answered you, I said we have been working on it. So for these two, we are working on it. It's just similar to somebody asking that, why is the police still using an emergency number of 11 digits? Why don't you have 911? These are things that do not come easy. These are things that...
Lagos has it, so it's not a rocket science.
Yes, but it's capital intensive. How many states can...
Well, but I mean, for life, nothing should be more capital intensive than the lives of the average citizen.
How many states would be ready to put down the kind of money that is being paid for these resources? So, like I was saying, these are things that we have identified. Control rooms. Some other states have it. Yes, I can confirm the one in Lagos. Not just the IRS, even Neighborhood Safety Corps, they also have their control room, and some other states do have it. So we are working on it for other states, so that once we have these things, like you said, facial recognition, the moment you pass through a place, it registers it, it logs it that this person was here. And so once we have all of this, it will make the job of crime fighting quite a lot easier.
Benjamin Hundeyin is a spokesperson of the Nigerian Police Force. Thank you so much. And tonight, if nobody is saying it, to the more than 350,000 police officers who are every day, either the ones that beg us for 20 naira at the checkpoints on the road, or the ones that are fighting and breasting the bullets on the war front in defense of our territorial integrity and our nation. We're saying tonight, we love you, we appreciate you, and we salute your gallantry. As we told you earlier, that President Bola Tinubu, alongside some very senior members of the government, are in the United Arab Emirates, where the president has announced the signing of economic agreement with the United Arab Emirates to co-host Investor Pier. Well, that will happen in Lagos in February. It's an initiative aimed at attracting global investors and accelerating sustainable investment inflows. The president was speaking at the 2026 Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, which Nigeria also concluded a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the UAE to deepen trade and cooperation in renewable energy infrastructure, logistics, and digital trade. That signing ceremony, President Bola Tinubu, the President of the United Arab Emirates, the Nigeria's Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the UAE Minister of Foreign Trade, and the Minister of in charge of Talent Attraction and Retention in the UAE. President Tinubu says that the SEPA, which the agreement was signed, is a historic and strategic agreement that will also enhance cooperation in aviation, logistics, agriculture, and climate-smart infrastructure, creating enduring opportunities for the people of the two countries. Take a listen to what the president said at that conference.
Nigeria stands with the global community, moving beyond ambition and towards delivery. The nation views the Nexus approach as an opportunity to align climate action with energy access, economic growth, job creation, and social inclusion. Sustainability. Sustainable development ensures that all systems, policy, finance, infrastructure, nature, and human capital must move together. As articulated in COP30 in Belém, in Brazil, climate action must be fair and just. Developing countries require predictable climate finance, accessible technologies, and robust capacity building.
Well, that's President Bola Tinubu in Abu Dhabi. He was speaking at that conference earlier today. Let's get back with our conversation on national security with the spokesperson of the Nigerian Police Force, Benjamin Hundeyin. With what we've seen, so we hear a lot as to the coordination in terms of intelligence gathering and the actual activities on the field as we see. And there are those who are asking, the post-American strike in Sokoto, What are the information that we know? What are the casualty figures? Do you have any information from the police point of view, the aftermath of that attack?
Yes.
Or that strike?
Yes. Of course, we engage a lot in intelligence sharing, not just intelligence gathering, intelligence sharing. So yes, as a police force, we know certain things about the strike, but we don't want to talk about it. We decline to talk about that particular operation.
So it's U.S. operation and it's U.S. operation because we thought there was a cooperation.
Of course, there was a cooperation with, but we would rather leave it as a defense matter that the defense will talk about.
But what about the situation in Offa in Kwara State? Because there are those on the same evening that happened, there are those who were saying in Offa, and there are people who were injured who said some of the element of the ammunition that were deployed in Sokoto got into, people are wondering how that happened.
Yes.
So what is the police?
Yes. We got reports of that, and we immediately deployed our men there, especially our explosive ordnance disposal units. Our EOD guys were deployed there to ensure that people remain safe, people don't toy with these things, and render the area safe. So as far as that is concerned, yes, we're on ground to ensure that there was absolute safety for people. But other things about it, where it came from, how it came, and everything, would rather not comment on that.
Okay. But what is happening in that area? Because one, we imagine that we understand that immediately caused the Lakurawa group, some of them, to flee that area. What are the reports that the Nigerian police can tell us about that region?
Yes, the region of Kwara, yes.
I'm talking about Sokoto.
About Sokoto.
The Lakurawa, yes. who have some level of dominance in attacking areas in that state.
Well, like I said earlier in the first part of this interview, that what we did in Kwara and Kogi will be sustained, and we will take the battle to every identified enclave of these bandits. I deviated from being specific about where next or the timeline I was going to be, so that to protect the sanctity of these operations that we're about to embark on. So let me just say that yes, there might have been movements of some of these terrorists. But without saying much, yes, our eyes are on them. We are still gathering intelligence. We are still sharing intelligence. And very soon, I hope to be back here again to talk about our latest strike and successes in combating these people.
The police says that Nigerians and citizens who will see injured people with gunshot wounds should report to the Nigerian police force. But there are fears of reprisals or wrongful arrests. And those who say some of these strikes that we are saying, how secure are the civil population who live very close to some of the enclave of some of these? What are the guarantees that the average person can get in some of these areas where you are carrying out?
I can assure you that this.
How precise are yours?
They were precise. These were operations that came after a long period of even rehearsals. Of observation, of intelligence gathering, and I can assure you it's not close to anybody's house. As you can see from the video, these are enclaves far from the people. So we can assure people that there's no civilian casualty. Not even the hostages. We're so precise with this to ensure that only terrorists that, like I said earlier, fighting back, would not surrender easily, were neutralized. So people can rest assured that they are not affected. And yes, we did say, and we still maintain it, if you see people with gunshot injuries, please let us know. So that
how do they know? You're the 11-digit number?
Oh yes, so the statements we gave, or we made, we gave out those numbers. So for those who might be skeptical about walking up to a police station to tell us in person, yes, they can call.
What number can Nigerians call? Can you call it at some point? Maybe we can put it on the screen. What are the numbers that Nigerians can call in case those who are watching right now and they've identified or cited any gunshot wound in the last? It happened about 3 or 4 days ago, isn't it?
Yes. So before the end of the show, I'm going to give out the numbers. They are particularly our complaints response unit numbers. They are very easy to, unfortunately, they are 11 digits, but they are actually still easy to memorize. I'll give it for the end of the show.
Let me ask you, what we saw in Edo State in Ekpoma, although the government of Edo State and the governors intervened in the matter, and the latest we're hearing is that anyone who is a protester in that scenario should be allowed to go. Why did things escalate and got out of hands?
Well, I would not exactly agree that things got out of hand because the police responded as swiftly as we could. In fact, the Commissioner of Police Edo State Command, CP Monday Agbonika, was on ground to coordinate the operation himself, the response operation. The thing is that whenever there's a protest, it usually starts as a peaceful protest, but most times it doesn't end as a peaceful protest. You see people going haywire, you see hoodlums infiltrating and hijacking these protests. So particularly in Ekpoma, yes, that happened. In fact, we've seen videos where some people just decided to vandalize property, loot people's property, and even attacked the palace of the Enuge of Ekpoma. So these are not peaceful protesters. In fact, you recall that the NSAS protests where police officers were killed, where stations were burnt, where firearms were carted away. Till today, some people still call it peaceful protest. That is not a peaceful protest. So in this particular case, we were particular about those that were arrested. Yeah, I've seen news making the round that, police went to hostel to arrest innocent students. No, some of these students actually participated in the protest, and those were the people that were arrested. In any case, I would like to add that despite all of this, they've been arraigned, some of them have been remanded. Despite all of this, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adoluegbotokun, has directed the Commissioner of Police in Edo State to identify those that are genuinely students. Those that are genuinely students, and the charges against them be withdrawn. And these ones that have been identified, whose charges have been withdrawn, to be handed over to their parents or guardians. The IGP has decided to do that. Yeah, we understand how some youths can have exuberance and participate in things that they would later regret. But that notwithstanding, we still maintain that any protest that turns violent, any protest where people start vandalizing property, we would not allow it. No civilized society would allow such to happen. We would not allow it, and would always step in to save the day, to get these people arrested and get them prosecuted as it should be.
There's so many questions as to how these escalated. My first question is how these deteriorated and how things got awry. And the question of how a criminal operation gets to the point where lives were lost before security operatives intervene, and those who are saying whether or not the police unit very close to that area is not enough equipped, enough fortified. What do we know as what lessons is the Nigerian police taking out of this incident in Ekpoma? And there's a lot of distrust in the population in that area and the Nigerian police force.
Well, yes, there's a lot of distrust, but at the same time, the level of distrust is not as bad as it used to be, because we've done a lot in engaging with people. We've done a lot of advocacy, and we've done a lot to show people how responsive we can be and how we can come to their aid. So in Ekpoma, yes, it might have happened that the closest police unit or formation was not able to handle the situation. Yes, it does happen, and in such cases, that unit would call for backup, would call for reinforcement, and that was what happened actually, to the extent that the Commissioner of Police in Edo State actually moved down from Benin City to Ekpoma. In fact, the area commander too was on ground, several DPOs were on ground. So that's standard practice all over the world, that you confront a situation and the situation seems to be getting out of hand. The next thing is to call for reinforcements, and that's what we did. But nonetheless, we intend to work more closely with the people, and we call on the people to work more closely.
Is the police ready to release those students as ordered by the governor?
Oh, definitely. I did say earlier that the Inspector General of Police has instructed the Commissioner of Police in Edo State to identify those that are genuinely students. Only those.
And you could see them weeping. The report was on our news at 10 yesterday, and you could see those students, some of those who said, look, they didn't have anything to do with our protest. They were innocent, and there were innocent protesters there. And we also understand that the DPO has since been changed by the Commissioner of Police in Edo State.
Yes, there's been some reorganization to enhance security there. But Sheung, I would also let you know that after arrest, there is investigation, and only those that are found culpable will definitely be arraigned. So it's not like the police will just go there and, like some people allege, no, it doesn't work that way. They just go there and arrest everybody and just arraign everybody. No, so there was what we call screening. But nonetheless, like I said, the IGP has given that directive, and that directive is being carried out.
The situation that we saw brings to mind when politicians now start to talk about it, and we hear about some part of the northwest region of the country and the possibility of release of some bandits. We understand that they are in the custody of the Nigerian police force. What do we know now?
Well, you see, release or no release of people that have been arrested, people that have been arraigned, would now lie with the judiciary. So for us, as an agency, we start our work, we get criminals arrested, we investigate them. Of course, usually investigation starts before even the arrest, but we conclude the investigation and we arraign them. At that point, the ball has been passed to the judiciary. So if the judiciary, in its wisdom, in its discretion, decides that, okay, so you know what, we are just letting these people go with a warning, or we are giving them imprisonment or some other sort of punishment, then so be it. We are law-abiding. The judiciary has passed that, and we just enforce it.
So this comes to mind, and I'm very sure that you heard the government of that state in the northwest region of the country is already speaking about the matter. Well, I'm asking specifically that these people will understand these bandits that were alleged bandits that were arrested, this suspect, bandits that have been arrested by the police are in the police custody. They are not yet arraigned, and there are conversation as to the release of these bandits.
Sharon, it's possible. I'm sure you must have heard of that before. It's possible that you arraign people, and the judge or the magistrate would give an instruction that they be remanded specifically in police custody. Just like they can be specific about remanding people in prison custody. So that somebody is in our custody is not guaranteed that they have not been arraigned. But even if they have not been arraigned, if they are court orders, like we've had people in our custody, and there'll be a court order to say, oh, that maybe you release the person, or sometimes injunction barring the police from further arresting the person. So it could be anything. So it does not matter if they are in police custody. That should not be the focus. The focus should be that we are following due process, and if there is an injunction or an order, just like the court order restrained us from enforcing the Teens Permit policy on January 2nd, and we have to be law-abiding. So if there's a court order, and do not forget that the legal department of the Nigeria Police Force has been upgraded by IGP Egbetokun to a full directorate, such that it's now headed by an Assistant Inspector General of Police. So if the due process is followed, our legal department goes through it and says, oh, it's fine. So we are law abiding.
70 in Katsina, that's the number, and the government is defending the reasons, and that's the reason I wanted to just find out whether they are being released, because they are in your custody. Have they been released?
Like I said, we have a legal department. We'll go through the due process, and whatever decision we take, definitely will let Nigerians know. For us now, we have not issued any statement, we have not said anything, because it's not yet time to say something. But if it's time, we'll let you know.
What about the arrest made in Yewata in Benue State? Those that are arrested.
That should be last year.
Are they still in custody, or they are being released?
Oh, they've been arraigned. This is a judiciary matter now. We have done our part. We have arraigned them. So that's a judiciary matter now.
Okay, give me a moment. But I'd like to let our viewers know that earlier today, I was part of a colloquium, a governance and leadership colloquium, which was part of an event to mark the 50th birthday of the Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Policy Coordination. Aja Adizat Bala Usman. Part of the panelists I moderated was Mr. Taiwo Yedele, who is chairing the Committee on Fiscal Reforms and Tax on the new tax regime in the country. But specifically, I wanted to know his response to KPMG's inquisition on the copies of the gazetted laws, which there are allegations of forged aspect of those laws. And when I asked Mr. Taiwo Yedele at that event, this was what he had to say. Take a listen to him.
Now that you are here, I saw your response to KPMG. Which version of the gazetted tax laws do you have? Is it the one, the one with the error, or the corrected one? Because the perception out there is as though this government has something to hide. And that's why they doctored it, the one with the lawmakers. In fact, the lawmakers say, the ones you have with you is being doctored. I mean, the ones you're bringing to us for gazetting is being doctored. For the sake of this audience today, why did you guys doctor it?
I like that. It's called no manners of living. You know, they say I'm a forger of law and all of that. Let me tell you the honest truth, the way I see it. I think that Nigeria, we don't normally pay attention to solving problems structurally. When there's a crisis, you quickly throw, you see the smoke, and you're battling the smoke, instead of it to go to the source of the fire, where the smoke is coming from. Before this allegation about alteration of the tax reform law into the open, in my role in the past 2.5 to 3 years, I've seen processes that I thought were not our standard. That we can't be proud of these processes in 2024, 2025 as a nation. One of that process is the lawmaking process. And it's not only lawmaking, including regulations, guidelines, all these subsidiary legislation from government. What do I mean by that? So you have this very elaborate process for lawmakers to enact law. And then you transmit. Okay, the clerk will certify it. It will go to Mr. President, often through Ministry of Justice. Mr. President will sign, it's supposed to come back to National Assembly to certify, and then it's gazetted Ministry of Information. You know, each of every of those processes is very manual. One, the exposure to clerical risk is very high. If you know the versions of the bills I went through, I have lost count. And every time somebody says, oh, there's a mistake, they didn't update it properly. I saw that already. As I was sharing my concern, two senior advocates of Nigeria told me, one of them is a former NBA president, he said, there are three versions of the Constitution. He had gone to court to defend a client, and he was reading the Constitution, the judge said, which version of the Constitution are you reading? Constitution. So I said to myself, if this allegation of alteration had come up about any other law, it would not have attracted the type of attention this one attracted. So I said to myself, thank God, maybe it to be an opportunity for us to fix that process. For example, one of the things I wish had happened was as soon as the laws were harmonized and certified, why is it not published? The National Assembly, for example, has a journal. If it's online, do you think somebody will be bold to go and author it? So processes, how can we make them work? E-governments. Sometimes you want to amend just a sentence in a draft. You write a cover letter, you send it, the minute from the secretary, 2 weeks, just to say that there's a sentence that has a comma problem. You can't run a country like that. We don't have the luxury of time. So, to answer your question, we did not forge anything. We didn't doctor anything. It doesn't even make sense. When the executive was the one that drafted it, it will now be forging it. Like, what end? All those things that they learned that were forged, you're going to ask yourself, who benefits from all of that, right? So I'm not going to make any conclusions. I'm just saying the nation, we should please look at that process so that we have the quality assurance. Whatever laws we enact, we can take it to the bank that this is the true reflection of what our lawmakers representing all of us have enacted. I have no issues with KPMG, they are my friends. But one thing I see I'll continue to do is, I will not say just in the interest of saying we are very receptive to feedback. We won't take anything. If you take just anything, that is not in national interest. We must put out the truth, whether it is hard, whether it is soft, whether people want it or not. Trust is not built in the moment. It's built over time. Sometimes people will know in 10 years, in 2 years, in 5 years. Let it be that when that truth is known, you were on the right path of that journey. Thank you.
That's Mr. Taiwo Yedele. Earlier today at our governance colloquium, I was moderated the panel. But a lot of people will say, where is this coming from? Well, it came from a lawmaker who had alleged that portions of the gazetted laws or the laws that are available had been doctored. And Mr. Yedele did say, look, some of these things were being transmitted manually, which, of course, it makes it difficult for you to be able to defend or to know where at what point when all of these are being passed from one ministry and agencies of government to the other in perfecting the finer details of the document, where anything, the alteration or the addition to it of being made. And he explained the gap in the governance structure in the country as stipulated by law, how you have to manually get all of these things. But let me remind everyone, just before KPMG recently now wrote their position on that, but I understand again that today, the chairman of the now Nigerian Revenue Service, Dr. Zach Adedeji, has met with KPMG, and I think the understanding as to the real position of things. But this was what really happened. This was a lawmaker who raised this on the floor of the House of Representatives. Take a listen to him.
By the political party.
We passed the tax laws on this floor, and Mr. Speaker, I took my time in the last 3 days to look at the gazetted past copy, the vote and proceedings of the House of Representatives, and also went an extra mile to look at the vote and proceedings of the Senate, of what was harmonized. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what I passed on this floor is not what is gazetted. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have all the copies, but I'm coming under privilege because I was here, I gave my vote, and it was counted, and I'm seeing something completely different.
That was the conversation. It's also a call for citizens to be more woke in their citizen responsibility and to be able to hold government to account. Well, the regime has started in the new tax laws. Just for us to conclude our conversation with the Nigerian Police Force PRO, Mr. Benjamin Hundeyin, who has been speaking with us. Now we have those police hotlines that anyone can call. And if you may, maybe the producer can put that on the screen while you reel out the numbers.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I did say, sorry, it's going to be an 11-digit number, but they're a bit easy to remember. So 0805 700 0001, 0805 700 0002, and 0805 700 0003. Thank you. Zero is the one to call it slowly, okay, because of some of the viewers who are trying to get the numbers. 0805 700 0001, or like they would say on radio, 0805 700 0002 and 0805 700 0003.
Thank you so much, Mr. Benjamin. These are our own effort in allowing the public to get the right information and know the right things to do when they're in trouble. But, I mean, it's safe to say that no matter what, people should watch the time they go out. Maybe Abuja is not the best of place to go out at night. Is it safe?
Oh, Abuja has a very vibrant nightlife, so it's safe to go out. Just be security conscious, like you would be in any other part of the world. But people should feel free to come out at night. I'm sure you would attest to the fact that you would always see patrol vehicles and stop and search points on the roads of Abuja. This has a way of boosting people's confidence.
What about tinted glass now? Is that being arrested, or is the regime still that you can't drive a tinted vehicle?
Well, the court has restrained us for now from enforcing anything about tinted, but the case is coming up on January 20th, and we'll know where we'll go from there.
Benjamin Hundeyin, thank you so much indeed for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimbale. God bless Nigeria.